All right, hey everybody, welcome to episode 5 of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast. 20 minutes with some of the world's top fitness pros. I'm your host, Anthony Rana. You can check out the show notes at stop20podcast.com. That's stop20podcast.com. Before you do that, though, go to iTunes and subscribe to the show. Leave us a rating and a review to help us out right now. We're just starting out. For today's episode of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast, I have on Flor Beckmann, and Flor is a master trainer with Nike. She teaches classes out of Austin, Texas, but she travels the world to help inspire the fitness lifestyle. She also works behind the scenes, training the trainers and making sure some of the workouts are not only effective but safe. I've had the pleasure of working on the Nike Training Club app with her, and I can tell you she's not only knowledgeable, she's an amazing coach. And all the links to her and very inspiring social media will be on stop20podcast.com. So, Flor, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Anthony.
All right, I'm looking forward to this. So, tell us, what's your story?
Well, my story. I grew up in Mexico. Growing up, I didn't have a whole lot, but, I did have this incredible mother who loved fitness, and she really saw the benefits of implementing healthy fitness and eating habits to myself and my brother. From a very young age, she was always educating us on that. She would always go to the gym. She would train either for marathons or track and field races. And since childcare is really expensive, I would just go to the gym with her. So growing up, the gym was my childcare. I was friends with the janitor, and all the meatheads knew me by my first name. And it was a culture that I grew into it. And as I got older, I knew that I would never leave that culture.
That's so cool. So you're a little gym rat and kind of running around the gym, just doing your thing. Were you taking classes, or were you just kind of sneaking in the back doing that, or were you like tagging along with your mom doing some weights?
Yeah, I would just tag along with my mom or just make friends. I've always been very chatty, so I would just roam around and talk to people. Mexico, they have different rules, so a child could probably be unsupervised at the gym.
Totally. That's awesome. Was your mom kind of your superhero growing up? Basically, was she the one who really influenced you to kind of be the person you are?
Yeah, I would say she is my superhero. She influenced me to always be healthy, be active, but also pursue a college degree and be, just the best potential possible.
Awesome. Who's your superhero now? Who are you trying to, who's out there that's doing such great things that you're looking at and you're kind of trying to aspire to?
Yeah, well, since I had a mom who really educated me on health and fitness, my superhero now is Michelle Obama, and specifically because she started the Let's Move organization, which is an initiative to help our youth lead happier and healthier lives. Since 2010, this has transformed school menus, encourage many schools to enforce the 16-minute of physical activity within the day, and it also takes the time to educate parents to teach their kids healthier lifestyle. So Michelle Obama rocks.
So who are you trying to be a superhero to? You have a lot of obviously you're a trainer. You're training your clients. You're also a part of Nike with so you're training the trainers as well. Who are you trying to help out there?
I want to be a superhero to young college girls. I do a lot of work here local in Austin at the University of Texas, and I know that college is hard. Not just academically, but emotionally. And from experience, I know that college can take you down a dark hole of bad eating habits and just overall bad lifestyle habits. So I love working with college girls because I can relate to them, and they see me as a mentor and they take my advice. And it just makes me really happy to see that many young girls are making the right lifestyle choices in college.
Very cool. I know, there's a lot of, we were talking about this in a couple episodes ago with Tony Genlacour and with women in fitness, and there's always this issue, like the body image issues that young women have. And do you feel like we're making some progress there? It seems like we are, but when you're in the trenches and you're dealing with young women, do you feel like we're making some good progress with that?
I do feel we're making good progress. I've been actually involved with the University of Texas for about 7 years now. And over the 7 years, I have seen significant change in the way that women in the college atmosphere work out. So I know that it's not just about being skinny anymore, but women are actually just trying to become stronger for what is strong to them and just healthy overall.
Do you think as an industry, what can we do better to promote that though? Like how can we really, because it's hard, we're fighting against, magazines and social media, but what can we do as an industry? Do you feel like that can kind of help that too? And that you're doing?
Yeah, I think just creating more awareness, right? Making organizations, finding the right people with the right message, and then just spreading that message and just really educating. I think education is the key to changing this culture and this industry.
Very cool. Flor, what sport did you play? Did you participate in college? Were you a rower?
No, in college I actually played water polo.
Water polo. I'm sorry, I knew it was water because last time we were together, you were coming from like a tournament in New Orleans, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Very cool. So, are you still doing that?
I still play every now and then. Unfortunately, they practice really late, like 8 to 10 p.m. And as a trainer, you have to wake up early, 5 a.m. So I'll try to squeeze in a practice every now and then.
Very cool. Did you ever try to kind of get into maybe, a lot of people want to train athletes in their sport. Were you ever kind of thinking, I'm going to be a water polo trainer?
I did, and I actually did it for a while. I worked with the USA water polo program for kids. So it's kind of like the programming that will get them ready to eventually filter into the Olympics. And I did that for about 3 years. So I actually did do some water polo training.
That's so cool. It's so funny how there's all these universes out there that we, a lot of us don't even know about. So it's very cool. So yeah, you're my first water polo trainer that I've met. Fleur, what is a training session? If I'm coming in to work out with you, give me your philosophy on some of the training.
Okay, so I always like to keep it really fun. I will always welcome you with a smile. I will always listen to you. I will make sure that we do smart training. My goal when I train somebody is to always listen to them and give them what they want, plus a little bit more of what they need. Sometimes I'll sneak it in there without them even noticing, just because I like to keep it really fun.
I've seen you coach at Nike, and you have an amazing energy, and you just flow when you're out there. What are some things that you feel like are important to kind of being a really good group fitness trainer?
I think just being open to everybody in the class and really just trying to make a connection with everybody who is coming to your class, not just the regular guy or the girl, not just the person who's new, but just everybody, and really making the time to connect with them throughout the class.
Flor, what was the last book you read? Doesn't have to be fitness related, and I want you to kind of give us your biggest takeaway.
Okay, so my dad's kind of a nerd, and he got me this book for Christmas last year. It took me a while to read it because it's a little dense, but it's called We Are Our Brains by D.F. Swab. And it pretty much talks about the way the brain kind of transforms who we are. And my biggest takeaway is that we have very little control over our everyday decisions or who we will become, because our brains predetermine everything about us before we are even born. So it's really interesting. I recommend it.
So that's funny. I mean, so you're basically feeling like it's predetermined, like you feel like we can't change that?
Well, obviously we can change some of the actions that we have, but the way the book talks about the brain is that, yes, a lot of that stuff is predetermined, and it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I think, I bet we'd get some argument from other people on that idea of that, that's what we have, these predetermined things that we develop over time. And then, a lot of our kind of actions are based on our self-image, and that if we can change that, and it seems to be like a lot of people have been able to do that, then we can change our lives.
Exactly. And I mean, obviously we could get into an argument for a long time and go back and forth, but that's what the book talks about. And it's really interesting just to even the little things that can be predetermined, such as boys liking the color blue and the girls liking the color pink when they're born.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's interesting. What was the name of that again? One more time?
We Are Our Brains by D.F. Schwab.
Very cool. Have you been to any seminars or workshops lately? And give us your biggest takeaway for that.
I did a trigger point release workshop on Sunday, and the biggest takeaway was just the importance of foam rolling and how its maintenance work. And you can't just do it one day. You got to kind of maintain and make it a part of your everyday workout routine. Very
cool. I got to skip ahead to the question, because I know the answer, because we were talking about it earlier about the project you're working on, speaking of foam rolls. So what's the project you're working on right now that you've been doing?
Yeah, I'm starting this project called Booze and Move. It's going to be like a monthly wine meetup where we maybe bring in like a wine expert, and he'll educate us on wine. We'll have like a glass of different wines, and then I take the time to educate the participants on proper foam rolling technique and proper mobility and stability drills. So just to get them a little bit more relaxed, what I've found is that when people foam roll and do some self-tissue releases, that they tend to tense up. And I think having that fun kind of wine theme to go along with it will really help. And I think it'll be fun.
Very cool. Wait, so is it the wine first and foam roll second?
Yes. Or at the same time. Okay. Still working out the small stuff.
Okay, cool. I think I might try a vodka and foam roll class up here.
You should do it. You should do it.
All right, Flor, now it's time for the stop and give me 5 segments. So I'm going to give you 5 rapid-fire questions you got to answer. Most people you've taught in a group fitness class?
600 people.
No way. Where was that?
NTC tour, probably Dubai or Istanbul.
Very cool. Besides Mexico, favorite place to travel for teaching?
I love going to Istanbul. Just the culture there, it's not what you hear on the news, and that's not what I was expecting. And I just truly fell in love with the girls there and how they're trying to really change the culture and get women to be more active there.
So cool. What's your coolest Nike experience? You've had so many.
Okay, the coolest one was in Mexico City, and it was for the global Nike women's training team. And I taught an NTC class in the middle of a lucha libre ring.
No way.
And all the participants were wearing the lucha libre mask, and it was just really fun. The sound system was the best sound system ever, and the lights and the atmosphere, and it was really, really cool.
That is cool. What's your favorite Nike training shoe?
I like the Beckmann a lot. I don't do a whole lot of running, and I like the way that it really supports and it helps me during my lifts.
Okay, I like the Beckmann. I like the Lunar Cauldron, but I'm surprised at how much I like the Beckmann. So very cool. All right, if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
I would work with wine in some way. Maybe you'll open up a boutique wine shop, or I would maybe even go back to school and learn more about winemaking and stuff.
That's awesome. I think you could still do both. You could obviously, you are doing both. You're starting that.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Fleur, let's finish up with the letter to your younger self. So What advice would you give yourself?
I would give myself the advice to study abroad. I was just in a hurry to finish school that I didn't even tap into that opportunity, and now I kind of regret it. I wish I would have experienced living in another country for, an extended period of time. And I would also give myself the advice that 2 really good friends are better than a bunch of not really good friends. So I always try to be friends with a lot of people, and I never focused on just a few good relationships. So that's what I would tell myself. It's okay to only have 2 really good friends.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, I can tell you, you're a pleasure to be around. So you make a lot of friends. So having 2 is not going to work for you. It really is. It's inspiring to be around you. It's great to watch you work. And that's kind of why I wanted to get you on, because I had such a great time working with you at Nike and playing with you. We had some fun times at night too, and we have the pictures to prove it. But it was very cool. So I really appreciate you coming on here and kind of taking a deeper look into the mind of Flor.
You're very welcome, Anthony.
All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 5 of the Stop and Give Me 20 podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks again to Flor Beckmann. Make sure to check out the links to all of her social media at stop20podcast.com. Don't forget, go to iTunes, subscribe to the show or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a review and a rating. It's really going to help us out. Remember, we're still a new podcast. My name's Anthony Rena. Thanks so much for stopping by.